Hello everyone, welcome to Isip video tutorials. For today's topic, we are going to talk about special products. Pero bago ang lahat, if you are new here, please subscribe para po updated tayo sa mga bagong lessons. If you want to see the previous topic or yung mga sumusunod pang lessons, you can check the link or you can check our playlist in our YouTube channel. To my fellow teachers, we also offer our editable PowerPoint presentations to save you time in your lesson preparation. So you can check the link below or pwede nyo po kaming i-message through our Facebook page. Okay, so without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so these are the following competency involved in our lesson for today. The first one is to use special product patterns to multiply binomials. The second one is at the end of this lesson, you will be able to solve problems involving special products. Okay, so before that, let's have first a review of our previous topic. Kung hindi nyo pa po napapanood itong video na ito, you can check first those videos para po mas madali nyong maintindihan yung lesson natin for today. So, last time we were able to talk about multiplication of binomials using three methods. The first method is the distributive method. The second one is the FOIL method. And the last one is the vertical form method. But what if there's a faster way for certain types of binomials? No? Meron pa bang mas madaling paraan? Okay, meron po. Yun na po ang tinatawag nating special products. Ito po yung pag-aaralan nyo ngayon. Ito po yung tinatawag nating shortcuts. Okay, to start with, let's have this real-life problem number 1. Okay, let me read. A square garden is enlarged by adding 3 meters to each side. Express the area of the new garden in terms of x, the original side length. So, ang original side is x. Okay, so how do we illustrate this one? So, if you have here the square garden, madadagdagan siya ng 3 meters kasi may enlarge siya. Okay, let's say in this scenario, we are going to make this garden larger. So, the original size is x. Okay, remember, parehas po yan because this is square. All sides are equal. Now, if we're going to add the size, which is 3 meters, magdadagdag po tayo ng 3 meters, dalaki na po yung ating square. So, by the way, ano po ang formula when we are looking for the area? Okay? Yes, the area of a square is equal to s squared or s times s. Now, ano po ulit ang ating bagong side ngayon? Since ang old side natin kanina is x, nadagdagan ng 3, ang side na natin ngayon is we can represent it using this expression. So, s is equal to x plus 3. Okay? Now, since our formula is s squared, we just get the square of our side, which is x plus 3. Okay? So, kunin lang natin yung square ng x plus 3. Therefore, we can multiply 2 binomials. Okay? Multiply natin sa sarili niya. That's why we have here 2 binomials. And in our previous lesson at saka sa review natin kanina, pwede tayong gumamit ng distributive property to multiply this. So how? Again, we can multiply x times x. So the answer we will get later is x squared. Next one, we can multiply also x times 3 kasi nga i-distribute lang natin. So we have here x times 3. Next one, we have 3 times x, okay? And then i-distribute ulit natin sa last term. So 3 times 3. Let's simplify this. We have x times x squared. X times 3 is 3x. 3 times x is 3x. And then 3 times 3 is 9. Can we see similar terms? Yes, we have here 3x and then another 3x. We can combine these two, kaya magiging 6x. Therefore, our final answer is x squared plus 6x plus 9. Okay, let's explore further. Baka naman po may mas madaling paraan para makuha yung final answer without undergoing yung distributive property. So, tignan nyo pong mabuti yung sagot and then yung ating original binomial. So, the first term here in our answer is x squared. So, kung babalikan po natin ito, so parang ang nangyari lang is kinuha natin yung square ng x dito, kaya we have x squared. Next, we have here 6x. So, kung balikan natin itong first binomial, parang ang nangyari dito is yung 3, minultiply lang natin sa 2, kaya po siya naging 6. And then multiplied to x, that's why we have 6x. And then our last term here, the third term is 9. Let's go back here. Parang ang nangyari dito is, kinuha lang natin yung square ni 3, which is 3 times 3 is 9. So, ito po ang tawag natin dyan. Ang tawag natin dito is square of a binomial. Okay? If we are squaring a binomial, meron pong specific pattern na nabubuo. So, we have here, aside from addition, meron din po tayong subtraction. Okay, so let me read the pattern. If we have here the square of a binomial a plus b, or the quantity squared, it is equal to a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. Okay, where a is the first term and b is the second term of the binomial. So this is just symbols, representation. Yung a is yung first term and then yung b is yung second term. So here in our answer, kinuha lang natin yung square ng first term. Next, dito sa gitna, minultiply lang po natin si a and b, yung first term tsaka second term, tsaka minultiply natin sa 2. Okay, yun po yung shortcut. And then sa third term, kinuha lang po natin yung square ng ating second term sa first binomial natin or sa original binomial. Okay, ganun din po dito sa subtraction. You get the square of the first term minus the product of the first term and the second term times 2 plus yung ating third term squared. Okay? So, meron po tayong specific na pattern. Ang tawag po natin sa pattern na ito, the result of squaring a binomial is called a perfect square trinomial. Okay, yan po yung tawag sa sagot ng square of a binomial. Okay, so let's have an example in our next slide. Okay, let's have this example. Example number 1, we have here the quantity of x minus 8 raised to 2. Okay? So, again, first thing to do is to square the first term. So, asan po ang first term natin? It's x. We just get the square of x. Therefore, our answer is x squared. Next step is to multiply the product of the first and the second term by 2. So, meron po tayong product muna ng first and second term, meaning itong x, itong 8, imumultiply po natin sila sa isa't isa, and then, imumultiply ulit natin sa 2. Laging meron pong 2. So, we have here 2 times x times negative 8. Take note, pati po yung operation, kasama po yan. Yan na po yung magsisilbing sign ng ating term. Therefore, we have negative 16x. 2x times negative 8 is negative 16x. And the last step is to square the second term. So, yung second term natin is negative 8. Kunin lang natin yung square niya. Negative 8 times negative 8 is equal to 64. Therefore, our final answer is x squared minus 16 plus 64. Ito na po ulit yung tinatawag nating perfect square trinomial. So, hindi na po tayo nag-distributive method or FOIL method. Nakuha na natin kaagad yung final answer. Okay, another example, we have here 2x plus 5 raised to 2. Okay? Or the quantity squared. So, let's proceed with the first step. Multiply ulit natin or get the square of 2x. Multiply it by itself. So, 2x raised to 2 is equal to 4x squared. Ano po ang susunod? Imumultiply lang po natin yung dalawang terms. So, we have 2x times 5. And huwag kakalimutan, times 2. 2x times 5 is 10x times 2. Kaya 20x po siya. Next one, we have the last term or the second term, 5. Kukunin lang natin yung square niya. So, 5 squared is equal to 25. Okay? Therefore, our answer is 4x squared plus 20x plus 25. Again, this is the perfect square trinomial. Okay, for our third example, we have here negative 3a plus 7 raised to 2. Here, we already have a negative first term. So, ano pong gagawin natin dito? Ganun din po. We just follow the pattern. So, since this is plus, ito pong unang pattern ang gagamitin natin. So, we have here negative 3a squared. Yung ating first term, kukunin lang natin yung square niya. That's why we have here 9a squared. Negative 3a times negative 3a is 9a squared. Next one, multiply natin yung first and then second, first term and second term times 2. Okay? Kaya po, negative 42a. And then last is to just get the square of the last term or the second term, which is 7. So 7 squared is equal to 49. Our perfect square trinomial then is 9a squared minus 42 plus 49. Okay, para ma-practice natin, let's have this exercise. I have here three square of binomials. Pwede nyong sagutin muna before you check your answers here. Okay, pause nyo muna and then try nyong sagutan sa papel. Okay, so let's now see the solutions. So we have here x plus 4, the quantity squared. We have here x squared plus 8x plus 16. Okay? So paano nakuha yan? You just square the first term, x squared. And then you just multiply yung 4 tsaka x. 4 times x is 4x times 2, kaya naging 8x. And then get the square of our second term. 4 squared is 16. Next one, we have here 3x squared is 9x squared. Okay? And then, multiply natin si 3x tsaka negative 2. So, 3x times negative 2 is negative 6x times 2, kaya magiging negative 12x. Next, negative 2 squared is positive 4. For our third binomial, we have here negative 5xy minus 3 squared. So, all we have to do is to square yung first term, negative 5xy squared is positive 25x squared y squared. Next, imumultiply natin yung first term tsaka second term. Negative 5xy times negative 3 is positive 15. Pero bakit siya naging 30xy? Minultiply pa natin sa 2. And then last, negative 3 squared is positive 9. Okay, so I hope nakuha mo yung tamang sagot dito. Okay, before we have the second special product, let's have this real-life problem number 2. Okay, let's explore this problem muna. So we have here a square parking lot turned into a rectangular shape with its length x plus 4 and its width x minus 4. What is the area? So let's illustrate this problem. So we have here a rectangular parking lot with its length, yung mas mahaba, and then yung width, which is yung mas maiksing side. But before it became a rectangle, it was first a square parking lot. That's why yung length niya is x plus 4. Nadagdagan po ng 4 yung dating x na side ng square. And then yung width niya ngayon is x minus 4. Nabawasan po ng 4 yung dating side ng square. Kaya naging rectangle na po siya. Now, what is the area? Okay? So in getting the area of a square kanina, we used the s squared. Pero now, we are going to use length times width. Okay? Because this is the area for a rectangle. So what is our length? We have x plus 4. And what is our width? X minus 4. Okay? Now, this is two binomials with different signs or operations. So anong gagawin natin dito? We can use again our multiplication of binomial methods, which is pwedeng FOIL or pwede yung distributive method. This time, gagamit naman tayo ng FOIL method. So, ano yung F dito? First terms. Multiply natin yung mga first terms. So, we have x times x, x times x. Next is O, which is yung outer terms po natin. So, x times negative 4. And then, next is I, which is yung inner terms. So, 4 times x. And then yung L, which is last, so we have here 4 times negative 4. Okay? So let's simplify. We will get the first term, x times x is x squared. Next one, x times negative 4 is negative 4x. Next one, 4 times x is positive 4x. And then last, 4 times negative 4 is negative 16. Can we add similar terms here? Yes, we have negative 4x and then positive 4x. If we add them, magiging 0. So, ang maiwan lang po is x squared minus 16. And if we go back to our original binomials, meron ba tayong nakikitang pattern or shortcut? Okay. So, tingnan nyo po yung first term natin sa sagot, x squared. We just actually got it from the square of our first terms. And then yung 16, nakuha lang din po natin sa square ng ating mga second term since parehas lang po. Ang pinagkaiba lang nung dalawang binomial is yung operation. So if we are multiplying a positive and then negative, the answer is always negative. Kaya lagi pong minus ito. Okay? So ito na po yung tinatawag nating product of sum and difference of two terms. Why sum and difference? We have here a sum. And then why difference? Meron po tayong subtraction dito. So sum and difference of two terms. So the pattern is a plus b times a minus b is equal to a squared minus b squared, where a is the first term and b is the second term. Ang tawag po natin dito is difference of two squares. I repeat, the product of sum and difference of two terms is called difference of two squares because we have here two squares. Okay? So let's have some example. So we have here x plus 3 times x minus 3. So if you notice, parehas lang po ang first terms and second terms except for the operation or yung sign ng second term. So in this case, meron tayong pattern dito, meron tayong shortcut. We can just get the square of our first term x. So we have here x raised to 2. And then, kunin din po natin yung square ng ating mga second terms which is 3. Okay, and then ang operation is magiging minus na. Okay, kaya po x squared minus 9 ang sagot. Another example, we have here 2y minus 5 times 2y plus 5. So take note, parehas lang po ang mga first terms and then second terms except for the operations. Alright, minus plus. So ang gagawin lang natin dito, i-square lang natin yung mga first terms. So we have 2y raised to 2. And then yung ating mga second terms, i-square din po natin. I-raise to 2 natin siya. And then operation is subtraction. So 2y raised to 2 is 4y squared and 5 raised to 2 is 25. We just subtract the 2. So again, ang tawag po natin sa mga sagot na ito ay difference of two squares. Okay, to practice, you can pause this video to answer the following exercises. So we have here x plus 9 times x minus 9. And then the second one is 3x plus 2 times 3x minus 2. Okay, so I hope na sagot nyo. We have here x squared minus 81. Okay, bakit po? We just get the square of our first term. That's why we have here x squared. And then get the square of our second terms, 9, which is 81. At ang ating operation is just subtraction. Next one, what is the square of 3x? We will get 9x squared. And then what is the square of 2? We will get 4. And then, ang ating operation, subtraction. Okay, I hope nakuha nyo po ng tama. Now, let's proceed to the third or the last special product in our lesson for today. Okay, to explore our third special product, let's have this word problem. Okay, let me read. The volume of a cube container is increased by adding 2 meters to its side. Express the new volume in terms of x. So if this is our first cube, madadagdagan po ng 2 sides on each side of this cube, kaya lalaki siya. Now, our task is to find the volume of this new cube. Okay, so paano po? Let's have the formula. So formula natin is V is equal to S cube. Kung ang area ay S squared, ang volume naman ng cube ay S cube or S raised to the third power. And how do we express our side? It will be S is equal to x plus 2. Okay? Since our original side is increased by 2. Now, how do we multiply or how do we get the cube of our side which is x plus 2? So, ang gagawin lang po natin, imumultiply natin siya sa sarili niya 3 times. So, we have here x plus 2 times x plus 2 times x plus 2. Okay, so paano po natin i-multiply yung tatlong binomial? Unahin po muna natin yung dalawa. We can apply FOIL or distributive method dito para makuha natin yung sagot. Or even, we can use the special product which is the square of binomial. Okay, kasi parehas lang naman po siya. Therefore, ang makukuha nating sagot is a perfect square trinomial which is x squared plus 4x plus 4. Tapos, i-multiply po ulit natin siya dun sa third na binomial which is x plus 2. And if we're going to multiply this, we just need to distribute. Okay, distribute lang po natin. So we have here x times x squared, we will have x cubed. Next, x times 4x, we will have 4x squared. Dito naman po, x times 4, we will get 4x. And then lastly, we have here 2. 2 times x squared, we have 2x squared. And then here, 2 times 4x, we have 8x. And then next, 2 times 4, we will get 8. Ito po yung lesson natin on multiplication of binomial times trinomial. Okay? Kung hindi nyo po maalala, you can go back to our previous lesson first para mas madali na lang po itong topic natin. And now we will simplify by adding the similar terms or combining the like terms. So we have here 4x squared, kasama po niya si 2x squared, pagsasamahin natin siya. And then we also have here 4x, ang kasama naman niya is si 8x. Therefore, our final answer is x cubed plus 6x squared plus 12x plus 8. Okay, ito na po yung sagot natin. And if we're going to explore further, meron po ba tayong nakikitang pattern if we just base it on our original binomial? Kahit na hindi na po tayo mag-distributive property, pwede na po natin siyang masagot. Okay, so what is the pattern? Ganito lang po siya. Ang tawag na po natin dito sa special product na to ay cube of binomial. Okay, because we are getting the cube of a binomial or we are raising it to the third power. So this is the shortcut para hindi na po tayo mag-distributive property. Yung magiging first term ng ating sagot, it's just the cube of our first term, which is a. Okay? You just raise it to the third power. Next, ang second term po ng ating final answer is with this pattern, we have 3 times a squared b. Ibig sabihin, imumultiply natin ng 3 yung square ng ating first term times yung second na term natin. So, unahin natin si first term, kunin natin yung square niya, imultiply natin sa second term, and then, imultiply ulit natin sa 3. Okay? You have to take note of that. Next, for our third term, imumultiply pa rin po natin siya sa 3, yung product po ng first term, at saka yung square ng second term. So, I repeat, kunin muna natin yung square ni b, and then multiply natin siya kay a, tsaka po natin i-multiply sa 3. Alright? Meron po tayong pagkakaiba dito sa second and then third term. Ang kinuhanan po natin ng square is yung first term. Dito naman po, ang kinuhanan natin ng square is yung second term. Okay? Yun po yung pagkakaiba. And then for the last term, we just get the cube of our second term sa binomial. So that's why we have here b cubed. Okay, paano naman po pag subtraction? Okay, in our original binomial here, we have a minus b, the quantity raised to 3. Ganun pa rin po, ang napalitan is yung kanyang operation. Hindi na po addition, but instead, subtraction na po siya. Ganun din po sa third term, parehas lang po dito sa taas. Ang operation ay subtraction. Hanggang dito po sa last, magiging subtraction din po yung kanyang operations. Now, let's have some examples. Okay, using our patterns here, we have here x minus 4 raised to 3. So, again, let's start with the first term. Kunin lang natin yung cube niya, which is x raised to 3. Next one, yung ating second term is just get the product of yung square ng first term natin, which is x, multiply natin kay 4, tsaka i-multiply natin kay 3. And since this is subtraction, subtraction din po yung ating operation. Next, we have negative or minus 3 times x times 4 raised to 2. So, ang i-square naman natin dito is yung second term, which is 4. So, 4 raised to 2 times the first term x times 3. And then lastly, we will get the cube of our last term. So, 4, get the cube. So, we have here 4 raised to 3. Okay, so let's simplify. We have here x raised to 3. We have x cubed. Okay, for our second term, unahin po muna natin yung may exponent. Okay, so we have here x raised to 2. I-simplify po muna natin. Gawin nating x squared. Okay, and then we can now multiply it with negative 3 and positive 4. So, kaya meron po tayong negative 12x squared. I repeat, negative 3 times 4 is negative 12 times x squared is negative 12x squared. Okay, in any order po yung pag-multiply natin sa tatlo. Next, for our third term, we have here 4 raised to 2. Simplify natin, gawin nating 16 because 4 times 4 is 16. Now, i-multiply natin si 16 kay negative 3 at saka kay x. Ang makukuha natin is negative 48x. And then lastly, simplify natin si 4 raised to 3, meaning 4 times 4 times 4. Ang sagot natin dyan is 64. Don't forget the subtraction. It will now be minus 64. Okay, so for our final answer is x cubed minus 12x squared minus 48x minus 64. Okay, let's have another example. We have here 3x plus 2, the quantity raised to 3. Okay, this time meron na po tayong numerical coefficient for our first term. So, all we have to do is to follow our pattern. Kapag plus po siya, ang magiging sagot natin is lahat din po ng terms ay may operation na addition. Okay, so let's have the first term, 3x raised to 3. Okay, we just get the cube of our first term, 3x raised to 3. Next is 3 times 3x squared times 2. Okay, so tandaan, ang kukuhanan natin ng square is yung first term. So 3x raised to 2. And then multiply natin sa second term, kaya may 2 dyan. And then times 3. Next, for our third term, ang kukuhanan naman po natin ng square dito is yung second term, which is yung 2. So 2 raised to 2 times 3x times 3. And then lastly, we just get the cube of our last term here, which is 2 raised to 3. Now, let's simplify. Unahin natin dito sa first term. So we have 3x raised to 3. Multiply lang natin si 3x by itself 3 times. That's why we get 9x cubed. Dito naman po, unahin natin yung may exponent. Okay, so we have here 3x raised to 2. Kung isi-simplify natin yan, magiging 9x squared. Because 3x times 3x is 9x squared. Now, i-multiply lang po natin yung 9x squared kay 3 tsaka kay 2. Therefore, we will get 54x squared. Next one, we have here, simplify natin si 2 raised to 2, magiging 4. Si 4, i-multiply natin kay 3x tsaka kay 3. Kaya makakakuha tayo ng 3 or 36x. Okay, and then lastly, we have here 2 raised to 3. That's why we have 8. We will now have the final answer, 9x cubed plus 54x squared plus 36x plus 8. Okay, wala pong similar terms dito. That's why ito na po yung final answer natin. Okay, it's time for you to practice. You can pause this video para po masagot nyo muna itong dalawang cube of a binomial. Okay, I'll wait for you and you can check my answers later on. Okay, let's check your answer. For the first one, we have here, first term natin, kunin lang po natin yung cube ng first term, which is x. So, x cube is x cube. Next, kunin po natin yung square ng first term, which is x squared. Imumultiply po natin kay 3, kaya magiging 3x squared. Tsaka po natin ulit imumultiply sa constant na 3, kaya magiging 9x squared. Next, we have here, kunin natin yung square ng second term, which is 3. 3 squared is 9 times 3 times x. We will get 27x squared. And then lastly, we have here the cube of 3, which is just 27. And since subtraction po yung ating original binomial, ang ginamit sa original binomial, then for our final answer is also subtraction according to our pattern. Okay, next for our second exercise, 2x plus 1. Let's get the cube of 2x, kaya magiging 8x cubed. Next, what is the square of 2x? It is 4x squared. Multiply natin kay 1, and then imumultiply ulit natin sa 3. Therefore, magiging 12x squared po siya. Okay, next term, we will get the square of 1 or the second term here. So, 1 squared is 1 times yung ating first term, 2x. It will be 2x. Tsaka po ulit natin imumultiply sa 3. Kaya magiging 6x po siya. And then lastly, we will get the cube of the last term, 1. 1 times 1 times 1 is still 1. Kaya ito po yung ating mga final answers. Alright, so I hope nakuha nyo po. And for our final activity, okay, ito po, pwede nyo itong i-pause and then pwede nyong sagutan. It will take a longer time to answer this. So you can pause this video and then later on, balik po kayo for the answers. There is also another activity which involves problem solving. This is activity B. Pwede nyo rin po itong screenshot muna. and then i-pause nyo rin po so that I can provide you the answers later on. Okay, so you can come back later. Pwede nyo po itong balikan pag natapos nyo na pong sagutan. Okay, God bless po sa inyong pagsagot. Okay, I hope you are now ready for our activity A. Ito po yung mga sagot kanina sa activity A. And then for our activity B, problem solving, ito po yung mga sagot. Okay? So I hope nakuha nyo po ng tama ang mga sagot dito. And kung meron pa rin po kayong gustong balikan sa mga na-discuss natin kanina, you can always go backward the video para po mas maintindihan nyo. As of now, thank you for listening and I hope to see you again for our next lesson. Okay? Bye-bye and God bless. Kung meron kang natutunan sa video na ito, please click the subscribe button to support this channel para mas matulungan ulit kita sa mga susunod mo pang math lessons. Lagi mong tatandaan, ang math ay para sa lahat. At ako si Teacher Van, nagsasabing dito sa Math Isip, lamang ang nag-iisip. God bless and see you on the next video. Bye-bye.